Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another One Piece manga review. This week, we're reviewing chapter 1022, The Stars Take the Stage, and I am hype. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Christian Hollander. Christian, how you doing this week, brother?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I loved this chapter. I'm fully in it. I'm hype. How did you feel about this chapter? Did you love it? I know the community was ablaze. I know people were super hype. We got Marco setting the stage for our boys to take flight, you know?
Yeah, I thought the chapter was pretty good. I'm not going to let it bother me too much, but I am a little bit annoyed with the One Piece community because I don't know if the trolls are back or if people just react to symbolism a little bit too much, but I've seen some Sanji fans talking real reckless just because of that last panel.
Look, Sanji fans, as a Sanji fan, we got to chill out. All we want is for y'all to stop slandering us in general. Like, we're not strong. Sanji's not as strong as Zoro. I acknowledge as a Sanji fan. I just don't want the slander of, oh, my man is as weak as Chopper, Frankie.
No. Okay, look.
Jim
all of that is the chicken and the egg at this point. I don't know who started what, but I've said this before. That is probably the consequence of people not knowing how to critique, slander, and I guess just compare and contrast. So you have people who put down Sanji because they don't feel as though someone else has ranked Zoro high enough, and you have people who rank Zoro lower, and different people take that as slander. At the end of the day, Sanji is extraordinarily powerful. He's he should be high tier commander level, and anyone who denies that,
they're just lying.
It's slander. Yeah.
I'll say that. And I'll say that same as a Sanji fan. Anyone who's saying Sanji's stronger than Zoro or is as strong as Zoro, they're lying to themselves. Like, that just has to be said. So I'm glad me and you are on the same accord, so we can come together and enjoy this chapter. But there is some parts of this chapter that needs to be slandered, and I'll get to it. But let's do this review as always. We give you a brief summary and then we dive into it. So basically, the chapter starts with seeing that the Toby Roppo, they're done. They're out of here. Get them out of here. Done with. Onigashima is only 15 minutes from reaching the Wano capital. Then we see Fukuro and Raizo fight. We then see a little bit of pictures of all the other scabbards, what they're doing right now. And then we go over to Hawkins and Killer, man. Hawkins and Killer's battles underway. Looks like we're going to get a full battle of that. We're finding the effects of Hawkins. What's Hawkins' secret? Who does he have a doll of? And we'll get into all of that. Then we jump to the main event, baby. Marco is through. He can't do no more. He's staminaed out. He's done. He's reached his limit. Kid and Queen are going on an onslaught. And who's there to stop him? None other than Zoro and Sanji. Nice. That's pretty much the summary of it. But we can start in the beginning. And what's your thoughts? Where you want to jump in at? Oh, I think you're on mute.
The beginning works. It's a little straightforward, but it's still nice. I really like that the middle panel there, because it gives me a nice, I don't even know what perspective you would call that anymore. That slipped my mind, but being able to understand where Black Maria is in juxtaposition to page 1, Ulti was real nice. Seeing some of the previous damage, like, that sliced building, and understanding, okay, now we're getting an understanding of size. So when Robin was talking to Black Maria about, you're going to burn the whole structure down, it's clear, they were above page 1. So theoretically, if Robin and Black Maria's fight would have continued, page 1 may have gotten, collateral damage by falling, burning debris or something. Mm-hmm. So it is nice to kind of get that sense of scale. So I did appreciate that. Again, a close-up of all 3 of the Flying Six that we recently saw defeated, and we actually did get an answer like who's who is definitively knocked out. Sasaki's knocked out, and we just saw Black Maria get utterly broken by Robin. So it was a nice, again, reminder. We've had, some breaks. So it is nice to get those visuals. But again, straightforward.
They're out of here, bro. I thought they were going to be here longer. I really did. Like, just from how they were introduced, Drake, former captains, Straw Hats got them out of here. And that makes me think we got to start putting respects on the Straw Hats name. They're the Pirate King's crew. And this chapter shows me we're getting close to that time. Like, and I'm going to be blank. I don't think the raid is ending in failure. We're kicking Kaido's ass tonight. Like, it's going down.
Yeah. And I mean, and like we discussed this off air. So like the Toby Ropo in and of themselves, I believe were built up to merely be sacrificial pawns to show us where the Straw Hats are. Because when you actually just think about it, they just have a name or a title that's given to them that no other power system that we've seen thus far really has. Like when you break it down, the Flying Six are just the 6 top gifters. Like the headliners is also kind of like an empty title. It's not necessarily a caliber above gifter. It's just you're a gifter who brings in X amount of results. And the top 6 results or the top 10 most like useful gifters or headliners are the Toby Ropo. So when you really think about it, they're just powerful gifters. You wouldn't say that like, for instance, I like to use Doflamingo because he's not a Yonko, but he still has a very Yonko-like power system to his setup. He would be the Yonko, the king, so to speak. Then he has his own commanders in Diamante, Pika, Treble, and Virgo. And then underneath them, they have people like Lao G, Baby Five, Senior Pink, etc. Now, did Senior Pink, Baby Five, and them have a title?
No. Yeah, no.
They were just subordinates of Doflamingo's commanders.
So who were the higher subordinates? Yeah.
Right. And now we knew that Lao G, I don't remember the little fish-looking dude.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. With
the old lady who was painting. Like, we knew they all had names. They all weren't just fodder, but they weren't really that worthy of competitors. So when you really think about it, the Flying Six got what I felt was like enough extra hype to make us say, okay, yeah, they're standouts and they are impressive, but they're still easily fallable.
Now let me ask you this, Mr. Power Scaler, not to cut you off.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
Are Frankie, Robin, Brooke, and Jinbei as strong as X Drake and Apu? And like where are we?
No. All right. So
where are we ranking the Straw Hats among them? Like this is crazy.
This is kind of how I see it. So this is where the power scaling gets a lot hazier because these lines aren't clearly drawn. So we've discussed how who's who in Sasaki based on reading between the lines. They seem to be the Toby Ropo who are closest to bringing in results and having the strength to actually challenge someone like Jack, King, or Queen. So I would say that they are verging on Yonko commander level, right? All right. So when you look at X Drake is a Flying Six. Okay. He's also a supernova. Now, is he a legitimate supernova or did the Marines place him in that group? I don't know. So that's where it gets kind of tough. I haven't seen enough of X Drake to say where I feel like he stands because he seems to be bottom tier supernova as far as I'm concerned.
Look, hey, real talk. I got X Drake right below the boys of Luffy, Zoro, Kid Law. I got X Drake right under them. Like I don't think I'm not like the Rouge situation. I get it. You could put a Rouge there if you want. I don't know too much about that dude yet. We haven't seen shit. Like I got Beiji under X Drake and I got Hawkins under X Drake because he has like some hacked ass ability.
Well, okay. So like when I say bottom tier, I don't mean like he's the worst of the worst.
Gotcha.
But I mean like to me, like when I say that, I mean like you can have like a bunch of bottom tier supernovas and like just a few top tier ones. So to me, the cream of the crop are Luffy, Zoro, Kid, Killer, and Law. Those 5 that are on the rooftop, without a doubt, they are the top 5. All right. And I would also say that they're at the top of the supernova list and power scenario, which means I would say that they are all in like the top 50 easily of a live power, live power scaling, top tier. To me, Beige and X Drake just aren't impressive to me. Eroge has at least some kind of lore up against a commander already. We know that Bonnie's aging fruit should be hacks as hell. I don't think her combat ability is anything to write home about. So she's also kind of like bottom tier to me. So like the supernovas are almost kind of like black and white to me. Like they're either really interesting and good or they're kind of let down. So like to me, Apu, Beige, Drake,
Hawkins.
I got Hawkins like he's like the only middle child to me.
Really? See, that's how I feel about X Drake. I think X Drake's the middle child.
No, I don't think so. In my opinion,
do you think X Drake would beat Smoker? Nah, this like, and I know we're getting in the weeds right now. I'm gonna reel it back. Yeah. Okay, yes,
yeah,
cool. Just making sure.
No, I don't think Smoker is impressive
at all. Dude lost to Virgo. Like I was laughing with somebody in the Discord about that. Shout out to Khalil. I was like, dude lost to Virgo, bro. Like,
yeah, no.
So you got Hawkins mid kid. Okay.
I've got like I'm perfectly fine putting X Drake a little bit higher, but I feel like he needs to show me something worth that because he seems like he's just been playing the fence
and giving that role. I could now that when you say did the Marines give him that, that's like, oh, that made me like, is X Drake giving his title like just cause, or is he really strong?
I don't understand it, but to get kind of back to the power scaling of it, we're talking about the Straw Hats here. I think that people like Sasaki and Who's Who represent someone who's teetering on commander level. So I'm saying like snack level, Yonko Commander 4, bottom tier commander, but they're there. I've got pretty much all the supernovas being able to beat commanders, okay? I'm not going to say like they can all beat Yonko Commander 1s like Katakuri and King, but they should be able to contend with commanders. Top 5 supernovas should be able to contend with Yonko at this point because they're somewhere in between Yonko Commander 1 and a Yonko. Robin, Nami, Jinbei, Frankie, etc. I have them all approaching Yonko Commander 4. Meaning, I think they could all beat Snack. I don't believe they can all beat Supernovas. So I've got Jinbei beating Drake.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got Jinbei beating Capone, to be honest.
I got Jinbei beating all of the Supernova but the top 5.
Basically.
And I got Jinbei. Jinbei low-key could... I know Sanji's fighting Queen, but I feel like Jinbei could beat Queen.
No, well, that goes to my point, which is, back when I was using a little bit more slanderous kind of logic to break up the monotony of Zoro equaling Sanji, I would bring up the fact that Sanji and Jinbei have had very close portrayal. In Fishman Island, everyone inevitably got kind of like their 1v1s, but Sanji and Jinbei teamed up against Watasume. You have Sanji being representative of a fire-based fighter. We have, Jinbei who's matched up with Ace for, I think, like 10 or 11 days. And then you talk about strength. This is where I was saying, like, a lot of people don't give Sanji the credit that he deserves because it's like, again, we know that bounties and titles are only, really affected by what the world government knows. So Sanji's notoriety right now is based off of his name more so than his feats. And so based off of that, if the world government actually knew how strong Sanji was, should Sanji be a supernova? Because just like I said, Jinbei is beating the bottom tier supernovas. I've got Sanji beating the bottom tier supernova. I mean, if it wasn't for Capone dropping Big Mom's blackmail, I have Sanji beating Capone back on Zo. It looked that way to me, like Sanji was in control of that situation. And I believe it. I believe he's beating Eroge. I believe that if he wasn't distracted by Hiyori and Drake was actually fighting, even though they did clash, I believe Sanji would have beaten Drake. So I have Sanji in the supernova level if the world government knew what his true power level was. But I can't even, like, if I'm being honest with you, I say, okay, well, Sanji perpetually has that number 3 slot. He should always be, the title's never even been unofficially referenced. But, if you're going to have a right hand, you should have a left hand.
He's the stopper Gabon, man.
Right. And that's the whole point. You have, Gold Roger, Silver is Rayleigh, Copper, and your Scopper. So it's like Sanji is that number 3, which means that based on the story, he should be stronger than Jinbei. But as a power scaler, what's been actually shown on screen, you can make an argument that Jinbei is above Sanji. Now, it's it'd be an extreme diff for both of them. But as of right now, from what's been seen, I've got Jinbei and Sanji, basically relative. I have no doubt that Sanji's about to show us that he's above Jinbei in Queen, but that's me having hope in Sanji's portrayal because I feel like it's time for that.
Yeah, facts. Well, I just had to ask because we see the Flying Six. I had so much high hopes for them, and they did all right.
They were there to prop up the Straw Hats. That's what they were there for. That's a big fact.
Onigashima, 15 minutes away. Are we taking a bet now? Are we doing the bet? Is Momo going to turn into an adult? Let's see what you betting on. You taking the over or the under? Is he going to do it? Yes, over, no.
He's definitely going to turn into an adult. I don't see why you mentioned that if Shinobu's not going to do what she was going to do. And then, like I said before, we've discussed other ways to fix this. If Momo runs into Bonnie can, age his body to be equal with his mind. Because she can go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fixable. It kind of makes sense because I definitely believe Momo is going to be the Shogun. And as I said last review, it doesn't matter how many wise retainers Momo may or may not have to have the great land of Wano being ruled by a child just seems odd to me. So if his stature is that of an adult, even if his mind is that of a child, it at least looks better
than the other way
on paper, right?
Well, my man Luffy's ready. He's full. He's getting ready to go fight Kaido. We'll see.
Yep.
15 minutes. Did you like Raizo versus Fukuro, man? I don't know. If Oda wanted to show us one of these scabbards fighting, I'd have much rather seen Inu fighting Jack at this point. But Raizo Fukurokuju, I didn't care about these firecracker earlobes and Raizo's shadow clones. This was butt to me. How you felt about Izo? How you was like Izo took a L. I was Raizo. This was butt.
Yeah. I thought maybe it might just be meant for some humor, but I agree with you. I didn't care for it, especially because it kind of, to me, felt like further padding of time. I felt like this was already fleshed out. We knew that I can't even pronounce his name. Fukukujiro or Fukurokujo.
Yeah, Fukurokuju.
Yeah, thank you. He takes his job very, very, very literally. So I don't think that he ever had a problem with Odin. He probably thought that Odin was a great leader, but he's only loyal to the seat. So if you are disloyal, if you're a snake, but you make your way to that seat, then I'm destined to serve you regardless. So he's completely removed his emotions. And, we have Raizo here who has more of a moral code and, gets more emotional. But this was already established earlier whenever Fukuro Kujo.
I feel like this was just a hammer home that ghost theory. And Joy Boy's eating right now. This ghost theory keeps getting more. I'm
gonna be real with you. Like I see it, but I honestly think that dude's just making a whole like series of videos that's going to be completely irrelevant. I don't think it's going to be to that level. They're interesting theories, but I don't think this theory of ghosts and the themes of ghosts is going to be that prevalent in Wano. It could be. I could be completely wrong. I don't see when or where or how relevant that would be unless it is something that is almost celebratory at the end.
That's kind of what I see it as. That's exactly what I see it as, like the end of Star Wars when they put the Force Ghost of saying bye. That's what I see it as.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see. Is Kinemon dead? Like he's face down.
So my thoughts on that was because we got to see Ashura and we got to see Kinemon.
It's not Izo. Izo's the brother. What's
We didn't see Kiku.
Yeah, we do that
right next to Izo?
next to Denjiro, right before Izo. Yeah, that's Kiku.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say it's weird because like I definitely think that they're dead, but the dialogue kind of made me question that because what does he say? If we must die to accomplish that, so be it. So it kind of feels like when I read the unofficial and when I read this one, it was kind of like, well, they knew they were going to die. Kinemon foreshadowed that he used up all of his luck. So I definitely think Kinemon is dead, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Kinemon has like, no, I expect Kinemon to die unless some miraculous healer shows up and literally brings him back from the brink of death. But I expect Kinemon, because of the way he was shown in Ashura as well, not so much Kiku, they may have like another breath of life in them for like a second, where if Kinemon has to get up just to say some words or to throw like a katana or something, like I can see Oda having him use his last breath to do something, or Ashura gets up just long enough to do something that helps someone out. But I think they have to die. I mean, they're already calling themselves ghosts. They were already remorseful that they didn't die the day Odin died. Just like Kaido, yearns for death. They yearn for death. So it's just kind of like, well, yeah, I don't see them surviving this. No.
Poor Osuru. You're not gonna see Kinemon. He is out of here. So poor Osuru. That's a R.I.P. to Kinemon. We'll see if he gets up. Now to the meat and potatoes. We got rid of that other stuff. Hawkins and Killer. I'm so happy we got to see Big Mom. Killer's a shady fuck. Having kid? Oh, but I do suspect, and let me ask you, I feel like this is just obvious. Killer's gonna go cut off, he's gonna cut off Hawkins' arm. He's gonna cut off the metal arm of Hawkins, and that's when, like, he beat him. Unless he finds out some hack, but he's definitely cutting off the arm that kid doesn't have.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's actually really smart. That's actually really smart.
I forget who I was talking to in the Discord about this. That might have been Verson. It was either Verson or Khalil, but we were talking about it and like 100% that's what he's about. Like, I don't like unless he comes up with, unless this is the way for Oda to like explain how to beat Hawkins, which I'm sure that'll be involved in this. But like, if I'm killing, I'm like, bro, I'm still whooping your ass. I'm about to cut off the arm my friend doesn't have.
Right. Like that makes sense. And, to kind of talk about the possibility of what's happened. We haven't really been able to see Killer versus Hawkins for a while.
True.
So my thing is, we don't know what conditions Hawkins has to necessarily set to make someone like his meat shield. Mm-hmm. But I'm feeling like it's probably either something having to do with a certain range or maybe a quick ritual that he can do, like maybe like similar to like the Edo Tensei and Naruto, if he has like a strand of your hair, no. Better example is like Nobara from JJK. If she gets a portion of you and puts you in that straw doll, she can then
that's actually a good call, because Hawkins has very similar powers to Nobara.
Yeah. And so with him being on a battlefield, that makes him almost immortal. If he can do that to like corpses or people who, maybe not corpses because that defeats the purpose, but like people who are injured, who can't put up any kind of resistance, Hawkins may have been able to possibly get like hundreds of meat shields, which means technically Killer could have like killed Hawkins hundreds of times by now.
Yep.
So I just wanted to explain that.
And I think you're right, because we see like 6 dolls on the ground, like cut in half.
Right.
So I think you're right about that.
That's just the foreground. We have no idea the sense of how many dolls Killer may have cut through at this point and killed. So I would be interested to see if the anime covers that and we end up finding that, Killer is just going ham and has murdered Hawkins over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But at some point, Hawkins somehow pulled off a way to connect Kid. And again, Killer's been very funny to me because he says things that I would not necessarily expect him to say. Or if I make a parallel to Zoro, I wouldn't expect Zoro to say. So if you remember on the rooftop, Killer was actually very complimentary of Zoro and Luffy, almost to a point where I felt like it was rubbing Kid the wrong way. He was laughing and saying, well, we actually do have a shot, if Luffy can do this, or, oh, wow, Zoro can actually penetrate the scales. Like, we can win this. He doesn't say that for Kid. And so here, when Killer ends up realizing that he's hurting Kid, he's like, I like your style. Like, what are you talking about?
I think he just meant like, I think he likes the fact that like Hawkins is like, oh yeah, I'm a dastardly fellow. Because you got to remember, Killer and Kid are not like Luffy and Zoro. Like, they're dastardly guys. They like to do shady shit.
to that point, you're right. Because, at first I thought that Kamazo represented like some broken version of Killer. Yeah, it was a manipulated version of Killer, but I believe Killer still had his sanity.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
When I go back and I reread that or rewatch it, like Killer has absolutely no problem, and this is consistent, murdering Hiyori and a child. And he straight up says, like, yeah, I'm just doing what I have to do, but like, yeah, I have no issues with this. And if you want to get in the way, like, I'll kill you too. And so it's like, well, we already know how Zoro felt. Again, not to turn this portion of the conversation to another Zoro video, but I find it hilarious. Zoro straight up tells Hiyori and the girl, like, I wouldn't sit here and watch an innocent woman and girl get slaughtered. So of course I'm going to help you. And then he asks them to make a deal, for the sake and the food, right? And then we see later, he's ready to get up and leave, and he doesn't even ask about the sake and food. It's not until Hiyori says, stay and eat, which tells me Zoro's going to help them regardless. The promise for food and sake was just to, I guess, keep his pride or to keep face.
Just to do it, right? Yeah.
Just to do it. Killer is not like that. Killer was about to murder these two for seemingly nothing. Maybe, it would keep his captain safe, because, there were the orders that Orochi made. But Killer is, he's a little bit more dastardly, but still, the fact that he realizes he just stabbed Kid, and he's just like, oh yeah, I like it. Like, this is interesting now. I'm like, what are you about to do?
I'm telling you, he's ready, man. I'm excited for this. You said you weren't that interested in Killer and Hawkins before. I was like, man, we should hold off on that. Now we're here.
I meant that in the sense that if Hawkins didn't already do what he did to Law, like, I'm never interested in Hawkins except in the exact scenario that he pulled off twice. When he got Law's crew, it was like, okay, now I don't see, like, how do you win this?
Yeah.
Law turns himself in. It's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But then we also see that at some point, Law, like, straight up beats Hawkins and has him sliced up.
And we never learned how
we never learned how.
And I think
this
is
because we're going to learn that with Killer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like Killer versus Hawkins is not interesting. Zoro versus Hawkins was interesting only because it was a feat for Zoro to show, a supernova versus another supernova. So it was cool. But Hawkins obviously had never had any time to set up Luffy as a meat shield or any of the other Straw Hats. So there's no reservations. And we know Law, Zoro, and Killer would have no problems with Hawkins so long as none of their allies are meat shields. So that's not interesting. But now the one condition that makes the fight interesting has happened.
Yes, sir. So, and I'm ready for it. And Law and Big Mom, we just see Big Mom chilling. I'm so ready for that fight. I'm glad Oda just showed it, just because, like, to me, that's the most, like, I get Luffy, Kaido. That's the meat and potatoes. That's the thing we're here for. Right. But like Law and Kid and Big Mom's pretty important in itself.
Look, again, not slander at all. I am so amused when I read manga and I realize that mangaka have to find a way to tell you what's happening in multiple locations at the same time, but it can't be shown simultaneously. So when I first saw this panel, I'm like, have Big Mom, Kid, and Law just been posing this entire time? Like, just standing here is like, yep, we're going to fight. Yep.
I just
any day now.
I just like to assume it was like a video game, how you pause the screen and like the
all
screen
was just a cutscene, and they're just waiting for the player to hurry up and get through the cutscene.
Exactly.
Because I swear there's a panel like
with Big Mom doing the exact same face.
It is the same thing. And I know only a couple of seconds have passed since that last panel that I'm referring to. But because we also are reading this weekly and then we have so many breaks, it's like y'all have been standing in place for months now.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's a good call. But I was just excited to see that. That was awesome because I'm excited about, like, I love the Straw Hat stuff, but like anything Kid Law related to me outside of the Straw Hats is like, only thing more important than that is when we get revolutionary armor shit. Like those two are some of the most important characters. So I'm excited for that fight. But good on you, Oda, for making Hawkins and Killer interesting. You could have cut out all that Fukuro shit and gave us more Hawkins and Killer.
Yeah,
way okay with it. Like I said, Inuyarashi, like it didn't even have. If you wanted to use a scabbard, Inuyarashi would have been cool. That'd have been a good moment to show what Denjiro was doing. That'd have been a good moment showing what Izo was doing. But Fukurokuju and
to your point, we're not there yet, but they do start to show the beginnings of Inu's contemporary in Neku later.
Yep, Pearl Sparrow versus
so
Neku.
It's like you could have gotten rid of the ninja fight and brought in either some Inu Jack to parallel.
Just to parallel, that's why,
just to parallel it. Or just focus on one of the dog or the cat and say, well, let's give them a few more panels. Because honestly, I didn't really even laugh at
we have more of a connection to them than fucking Raizo. Like, well, I mean, I guess people can say we have an equal connection, but like, I don't know. I feel like we've spent more time with Ino and Neku just from Zoe, and like definitely Ino.
Well, Inu and Neku, like Raizo was introduced right after Inu and Neku, but Raizo was literally chained up. So it was kind of like, okay, well, all the hype about Raizo turned into Zoe hype because it was like, okay, well, they had Raizo the whole time and they made these huge sacrifices. So we immediately loved Inu and Neku and the rest of the Minks, but that didn't really do anything for our affection for Raizo.
For Raizo, nothing.
And when you talk about, like, okay, you have the gag originally when all the men are like, yeah, do some ninja stuff. And that was cool. And I'm no doubt that, Raizo is a humorous, non-aesthetic, but still somewhat of a parallel to Naruto, because we know that One Piece, Eiichiro Oda, and Kishimoto are cool. So, getting the shadow clone jutsus and all of that, it's cool. And I get the sense that it could also be thought of as like a parody. You have Naruto and Sasuke. We know that these are the two one-time friends who've now turned enemies. It seems like Fukuro, Kujo, and Raizo were probably cool and rivals at one point, and now they're on opposite sides. So you get that whole like, yeah, we hate each other, but we were friends vibe. And it's like, you don't really need to focus on that. Like everything we need to know about that is already
done.
kind
it's
of
cool.
been set up.
Yeah.
Like we want to see the revenge match, like literally the revenge match. Inu is pissed off at Jack. It's revenge time.
I'd much rather see what Kawamatsu is doing. Like any of these guys. But to your point, yeah, it's the revenge match for both Neku and Inu. So like, you know, I just had to throw that out again, just because like that's the final thing before we get to the big dogs. Oh man, King and Queen kicking ass. My boy Sanji is that not a feat for Sanji? He was fighting them both for a little bit. We're not gonna give him that.
I would if he was on his feet. If you really want to talk about it, I was going to ignore it. I was really going to ignore it because I was like, look, it's nice that he was fighting both of them. It is nice, but
he's getting his ass buzzy.
He looks like he just fought Virgo again. Like, so I was just going to leave it at that. But that fire ass panel of King and Queen is the first thing that really gave me the sense that Marco was never really fighting them. Because the presence that they have in that panel, again, this is an art form. Manga is an art. Oda is a genius at doing it. They did not have that presence when they were fighting against Marco at all. Oda drew them looking ginormous, epic shading, epic environmental damage. So they never once looked like that compared to Marco, ever. And so the sense that I got here, again, as we were kind of discussing earlier, Marco was like, okay, the Straw Hats need to get in position. They don't need to be interrupted by these two commanders. So I'm here to kind of hold these two guys back so that the rest of the Straw Hats can grow in their own, individual matches. But Marco never came here to say, like, I'm actively trying to change something. I'm not trying to belittle the Straw Hats or anything, but I am trying to belittle the effort and the intentions behind Marco. Like, it's almost like Marco saying, I'm here to help out Luffy, but I'm not here as an official Whitebeard pirate.
Yeah, I'm just here.
You have Izo, you have Marco.
He's Bill Murray in Space Jam. Like, I came to make a play. Like, just one play. I'm not winning the game. This is y'all's job to do it. But you could even sense when, like, the panel where he's sitting down like this and there's like doom under, it's like, oh, Marco's done for. It's over.
Yeah, but then, like, I looked at that and I say, well, Marco's always struck me as like a more, this is going to be a contradiction, but more of a serious troll. Mm-hmm. Like, he'll make jokes with you. So when he got knocked down, I think he had like observation hockey, as I'm going to discuss later, whenever he sent Zoro was getting back up. I think he knew Sanji and Zoro about to get back up. So he just like allowed himself to be knocked down and be like, oh man, this is looking really bad. I sure hope these two people show up soon. Wink, wink. I'm out of it. I can't get up. Oh no. Because I mean, we know he can regenerate and he's back up literally right later. So it's like, is Marco really out of it? Is he out of stamina? Or is he putting on a show? Because he strikes me as he's just putting on a show. So anyways, King and Queen, they're talking their shit.
Yeah, they are. Sanji goes and kicks Queen in the face.
Yeah.
While King's just chilling. King's just chilling like, where's Zoro? We got to put an end to him. And stop all this.
No. It's not just some where's Zoro. That we're going to put some respect on this. King does not play around. He said, yo, I don't know what happened on that rooftop, but that is a problem, okay? He is the number one priority. F Yamato, F all these other people. I know we've been talking shit about Sanji being number 2, but I think our information network is wrong. Hey, go get me that guy. Do not let him get back up.
We're saying their information network is wrong.
King knows something some other people don't know. Okay.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, put some respect on Zoro's name, man. King said it's a priority. I'm with you. I'm backing you up, Christian. I got you. But then Sparrow said, Germa's biggest failure? Like, they keep throwing this Germa smoke in there. I'm telling you, we're going to learn about judging this. We're going to learn about judge. It's coming.
We have to. But then, like, even Sparrow, like, this also brings up another question. Like, is Sparrow basically saying what I'm about to say? Or is Big Mom's information network or what she chooses to share with her kids inaccurate? Because Sparrow says, if you'd simply married Pudding like you were told to, we'd never have to team up with these Cretans.
Oh, that's a good point.
Did you not know that Pudding and Sanji were never to be married and that Sanji was supposed to be murdered? But it's like, okay, we're watching or reading an anime and a manga.
Do you think it's because they didn't get their clone technology? Do you think he said that because
I mean, he's saying, like, had everything gone according to plan, we would have Vinsmoke's technology.
Yeah.
But, like, for him to say, if you would have just married Pudding, like, he was never going to marry Pudding. It was always the scenario where they were going to betray all the Vinsmoke. So it's like, I've seen this before, and it's always hilarious to me when villains say this, but it's like, oh, you should have just died. Now you need to die. But this all would have been fixed if you would have just died before. And it's like, I mean, yeah.
Maybe. Possibly.
I mean, it's like, is that what he was saying? Like, this all wouldn't have happened if you would have just died like you were supposed to? Or does he really think that this would be his brother-in-law right now? And that's weird to me, because we know, like, earlier, Big Mom didn't tell Sparrow everything. She was like, you know, do you trust me? I'm the leader here. You're not the leader. I know what I'm doing, and I have something in the works. But it's like she's not telling him. So it's like, again, I bring up, like, Katakuri protecting her in Whole Cake. She immediately turns to him and says, like, did you dare to try and protect me? Like, I need you. So it's like, again, I just wanted to bring that up because it seems as though there's a major discrepancy between possibly what the Big Mom Pirates are expecting and what Big Mom herself is possibly thinking.
And see, that I think that'll be important a little bit later. But then we see Nekomamushi hit Sparrow with the biggest claw to the face. Ooh, that was dirty. You even see Sparrow's face just, like, blooded up, cut. I like that panel. And then just like, we're going to step outside. I'm going to take care of you for Pedro. This is for Pedro. Right. I liked it. That was tight.
I liked it too.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, we could have took those Raizo panels and gave some more of this, because instantly when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is hype. Let's see more.
Right.
So, you know, c'est la vie. And then they're like, oh, we found Zoro. No, you didn't. Marco comes and pops in, stops him with a little Imperial flame. And then he hits him with the biggest thing, though. Or do you want to talk about Marco hitting him with the Imperial Flame?
I'm going to briefly go into Zoro-tard mode, just because I have to when I read this. Who's the last person Marco did that for? That exact move.
Whitebeard?
An attack. Whitebeard. And what did he say when he did that?
I don't know what he said.
He said, I'm sorry, but you can't attack the king that easily.
Yeah, true.
Who is he protecting?
Protecting Zoro, you know.
The king. Okay. All right. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. I'm done with my shit. I'm just saying, Zoro Whitebeard level confirmed? I think so.
This guy's clowning today, boy. Oh,
but no. But seriously, though, again, we see, competent king is right on it. As soon as he hears the henchman say, you know, we found Zoro, he's right there. He looks menacing again. And I also cannot wait to see this animated because, again, we know Sanji is ridiculously fast.
Mm-hmm.
So for Sanji to essentially be in a position where he was trying to get there, and we see supposedly Marco goes from being on the ground, hurt and no stamina, to actually speed blitzing faster than Sanji. And we know that that's legit. So I would love to see how that's animated. But again, I bring this back. We see how King creates fire. And I just don't see that being on the level of Boro Breath. Not even close. So again, when I say, Zoro versus King,
even though he's a people that can create, his people can create flames.
They can create flames, yeah. But I'm saying and it's different than Kaido. Kaido just produces flames and it's just flames. Here we see that King can equip his body with the flames. So it's not the same thing. It might even mean that Zoro may not be able to split the flame that easily because he may not be able to split King's hand.
King's flame may be hotter too.
I wouldn't be mad at that because
that has to be his thing. That has to be his thing.
It's just something that Kaido can make.
Yeah, Kaido's just that's an extra. I'm Kaido. I got Conqueror's Haki. I got the that's an extra for me.
And I get it. However, Zoro also cut Prometheus. So it's are we really about to sit here and be surprised if King's fire styles don't reach Borrow Breath or Prometheus, who Zoro has shown are nothing?
I'm gonna say King's fire. And if this is the case, then I'm gonna take the pat on the back. It's gotta be hotter than Prometheus too. I'm gonna say the only thing King's fire can't be hotter than is straight up the Mera no Mi. Because I feel that's the hottest fire you can make is them or the mag. I mean, I guess Akainu's fruit maybe.
I'm kind of jaded against fire at this point, and I believe
and that's fair to be jaded against fire because fire is used by Sanji, Luffy, everybody can use fire.
No, we don't even have to talk about the conquerors and other people. If we just talk about the heat related devil fruits in filler and canon, it's out of pocket.
Yeah,
we have the that silver guy who could turn his body into a furnace or something before film gold, and he was able to heat his body up. You have Akainu with the magma fruit. You've got Ace/Saba with the fire fruit. You've got Luffy using fire, Zoro using fire, Sanji using fire, King the wildfire.
Kinemon.
I speculate every Conqueror's Haki user has a flame-based technique. But then you have the filler. You have Oven. Well, I'm not saying Oven's filler, but you have Oven, whose ability is literally to be an oven. You have another guy who I feel is filler Oven, because that was some filler where Luffy and them were fighting on the ice continent with the people who stole his flag or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And there was that one guy who could heat his stomach up or his body up to 10,000 degrees. It's how many more delineations
of fire can we
someone who can heat themselves up or fire are we going to get? And how long is that going to be relevant? So again, it's no one's going to be surprised when Zoro cuts this flame. So I'm just not, like I said, I've lost a lot of the hype that's here, especially if it plays out like that. If King pulls out that sword and we get some swordmanship, and then we see a scenario where, I hope King has Conqueror's Haki, to be honest. Because if, this fight to me could be redeemed if Zoro ends up realizing what Kaido said on the rooftop and realizes, okay, let me try to intentionally coat my swords with Conqueror's Haki.
See, if that happens, you're gonna be hyped. You're gonna be hyped if King.
I'm gonna be hyped.
If King coats his shit in Conquerors and Zoro coats his shit in Conquerors, and they clash, your ass is gonna come in here saying, "What now, Sanji fans? Diablo Jambe don't have no Conqueror's Haki on it." You're gonna be coming here talking big shit.
That's not what I would say, but I would say if he learned to do it intentionally with King, there's a reason why he learned to do it intentionally, because he's about to do it again.
ZKK lives on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it to slander Sanji, but I hope so.
But I think it's interesting we find out about King's race, which I think we will find more about being on top of the red wall. And I've told you that the red line's coming down. It's coming down, baby. And this is more into that. And we're going to get that all blue action. My man's getting his dream.
And to your point earlier, the unofficial did give me the same gist that you were getting, that maybe King's Fire is something special. Because in the unofficial, I believe it says, and where we here we
conjurer.
Have the King of Flames or something like that, or the Flame King or something. It was okay. Then I say, okay, maybe his fire is something different. But I don't know. Now, I said this before. Haki's application could be very interesting.
Yep.
King is all black, and you see like the fire design in his mask. So just ripping from Naruto, if he can like coat his flames in Haki and make black
Amaterasu.
I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
You can make King hard.
Could. See, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. There's the hope. That's what I wanted to see today.
But I don't want to get my expectations too high for King, man. Because I don't see that happening. Like, I'm just throwing shit out.
Let's just be hyped for this fight because it's coming. And then I didn't even realize the panel where Marco was like, "All right, guys, that's it. I'm done." Like, he just throws his hands up. Yes. That makes the next panel even better when he touches the glasses, hits him with the eyes, and it's time for the stars to take the stage. I got chills. That was badass. They're like, he's back, and they give it to your man. They're not saying, look, it's them. No, they're saying he's back. Your man's.
See, now this is where, when you were asking me about the spoilers, I did hear about the spoilers, and this is where I was going to be really toxic because it was in reference to the stars with the Aizen pose. But the leaks in my ZKK group chat on Twitter were saying that Marco was only saying the star arrived, so they thought that he was calling Zoro, the star. And so when I read this, it's like, oh, he's definitely, like referring to Sanji and Zoro and making like a double entendre since King and Queen are called the All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So like you've got that, but that troll give up, like you see the little laughing signal above his head whenever he gives up. I was like, look, Dragon Ball fan, I got Cell game vibes with Goku. Like, he's just like, oh, I'm not the one who's going to beat you. I give up.
And I love how Oda put Doom again. Like with the Aizen pose, he put Doom again, but it's Doom for y'all. It's not Doom. See, that makes me think what you were saying in the beginning, how Marco said that it wasn't really like Doom for the straw. It's Doom for them because that's a good point. I'll give you that one I'll give you that one. That's a good one.
I did get chills when I saw the bandages ripping off because like Zoro's body is like levitating in the air. So it's like, I have two scenarios. One, on like some Ichi-Nichi gorilla shit, Zoro's just like flexing really, really hard. And that caused him to like rip out of his bandages. And maybe like he's exerting himself so much, he like literally physically propelled himself upwards. But then also I read it like a light came down and like lifted up Zoro out of his bandages. And he's like coming out like all holy, like Jesus or something.
I mean, he was coming out of cross. So like,
I'm saying
it's possible.
I wonder how the anime is going to handle
this. And the movie used this purgatory onigiri. So I mean, like, we get Diablo Mutant Mallet, purgatory onigiri. Look, King and Queen about to get their ass whipped, and I'm ready for it. Like, I don't like King, I don't like Queen. I'm ready for them to get their ass bust.
I'm ready for it too. But again, this is another question that I have, and this is why sometimes I get annoyed with the symbolism and the syncopation. Like, I get it. The panel's great. All right. It's great with Zoro and Sanji taking on King and Queen. But if you're telling me Mutten Mallet had this kind of power, what were you doing when you were fighting them by yourself? Like, you could have kicked Queen this hard at any given time and you just like waited. Like, and this is the humor of it all. Like, anytime the Straw Hats do like a combo move, it's always like, it gives me this feeling like they knew that they were about to do a combo move, even though they explained, this is the first time we're actually doing this. It's like, no, these people practice this shit. Sanji knew, I'm not doing this until Zoro gets back up, and then we're going to do this at the same time. Like, so every time I see these scenes, I'm like, if we get like a slice of life episode of One Piece, is it like, do people say, okay, in this scenario, like, we're going to do a combo attack? And like,
maybe.
This is the signal. This is the signal. Like, if I do this signal, wait for me, and then you use this technique while I use like. You could have done this at any given time, but you wait for Zoro to get back up so that y'all can have a clean shot. Like,
hey, it's all about the flex, man. It's all about the flex. Then my man says he called him twirly, nothing too crazy. He didn't call him nothing too wild. Said, yo, once we conquer this battle, yeah, we're gonna catch a glimpse of Luffy as the king of the pirates. That's hype.
Actually, what we were talking about off of air.
Yeah, because Sanji said it.
Yes, I'm gonna get a little bit more toxic now. Sanji's gonna be on the sideline taking a glimpse. Zoro didn't say that shit. He just said, once we conquer this battle. So Zoro could have been saying, once we conquer this battle, I'm leaving you here to go up to the roof. And Sanji said, I'm gonna come glimpse. Okay, I'm good. That's all I needed. I just realized Sanji said we're gonna get a glimpse. Zoro didn't say none of that. Zoro meant to say, I'm going to the roof right after this.
You better hope, because we're implies too. Who's the weird with Sanji?
No, he says, once we conquer this battle.
Sanji says we're gonna catch him.
And Zoro didn't say shit. In the anime, it's just gonna show Zoro looking at him to the side like,
It's better, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna get on your ass. Oh, that's hilarious.
Who's we?
We, both y'all.
We.
No break next week. I'm hype. Do you think we start the fight next week, or you think we're going somewhere else?
Although I would have preferred to get the fight after some of the other things are fleshed out, you don't drop a panel like this.
That's yes, and you just go away from it.
I mean, yes, Oda actually does drop a panel like this and then goes away from it. But no, he's not. I'm speculating he's not. We're gonna get some more Zoro and Sanji versus King and Queen.
I hope so. So we'll be back next week. But Christian, tell the people where they can follow you on social media. I'm hyped, man. We're in it now. Like, we're here.
At Hollinger94 on Twitter and Instagram, or Arc Season on Instagram. And if you're interested in my graphic design, it's going to be Design Season LLC on all platforms.
Make sure y'all go follow Christian. Look, and get in his mentions about this ZKK stuff. He loves it. He wants to talk to you all.
Yeah. Just have some rebuttals. Don't just say Zorotard when I go there. That's not a rebuttal.
Oh man, Christian, I'm excited for next week. You can follow me at LynBWT. Follow Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. Like I said, we'll be talking to y'all next week. Until then, have a good one. Peace.